All right. You know, if I had a favorite Swiss-born Frenchman, you're within at least the top 5, Romain Grosjean.
I have an answer, but it's really rude, Marshall Brett.
Look, say whatever you want.
Love
man.
you too.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to say.
I love seeing you here doing new things like this. The Riley, the Myers team coming together, this new motorsports program, Ford Mustang GT3. I'm old enough to have been at Le Mans to watch you race back in the day for GT, right? So I know you do have a passion for every kind of racing, but folks think of you Formula One, prototype, IndyCar. GT is not something you're like, no, you're like, hey, if it's good, let's do it. Tell me about that passion.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head here. Last year I spoke with Bill Riley and he says, listen, there may be a really cool program for Daytona. You want to do it? And I say, yeah, sure. I love to race Daytona. I love the race. And he said, maybe GT will be in a GT3 car. And I said, yeah, you know, I've done GT in the past. And different for sure. A little bit slower, but a very high competition out there. Really talented drivers. And it's going to be exciting to share again with a new team, teammates as well, and discover the Ford. It's a very different car from everything I've been driving before.
I love the retro livery on it as well. Granted, this was before you and I were born, but this Trans Am honoring livery as well, the big roundel with the 16 on it. It looks phenomenal. Tell me about this race, Romain. There's so many fun full-time folks who are competing in IMSA. Then we have folks like yourself who will get to see regularly. I always think of this as like first day of school. Like maybe you know some of the classmates, but there's new ones. There's some where you're like, oh, this person's really cool. Like, is it like that for you? For me it is, but I wonder if you're like, oh, hey, I get to see people, or is it like, you're all my competitors?
Well, let's put it that way. When I came here, what was my first year? 23 in Daytona, I knew no one. Like maybe 3 people. And having done many years in IMSA now, I know a lot more drivers. So yes, there's new faces, but it's not like 200 new faces at once. It's maybe, you know, a handful here and there. So it's good to see everyone back. It felt like we were here for the test in November yesterday. You know, the Christmas time passed fast. And yeah, I know what you say, but for some reason this year I don't feel that way. I think maybe I'm just happy to be here and I don't see it as the start of a new season, but the continuity of my career in the US.
Interesting year last year for you. You did not want your IndyCar activities to stop. They did. You had some opportunities. You had some helmets ready and suits. You might have some cool collection additions to your personal memorabilia, stuff you didn't quite get to do, but some possibilities there. But it was a weird year where we didn't get to see you in a race car as often as has been normal for you. Talk about what we hope will happen here in the future, but tell me about coming into this year. You've been busy your whole life, 10, 15, 20, 30 races a year. Has it been okay for you to, at least for a little period, kind of downshift a little bit?
Listen, I spent 7,000 miles on my bicycle, so I made up for it. It was a year that last year when we got into the year, knowing that I would only do, 5 races with the SC63, it was going to be a strange year. I was a bit worried about how I would feel. And I realized that there's a life after racing, which probably makes me more relaxed going into this year and hopefully having more races, but also knowing that post that it's not going to be terrible. There's going to be a lot of things to do. So in somehow it's a good year.
You obviously have Formula One commentary. I mean, it's not as if you do the 5 races and sit around your wife going, dude, get out of here, I'm sick and tired. I mean, it's not as if your whole racing world stopped, but at least you putting on the helmet constantly slowed down. But I love that you realize that, like, you want to keep doing this,
yes,
but when the time comes, it wouldn't necessarily be the end of the world.
That put me in a position that I will do it as long as I feel like I want to do it. And clearly, going into the winter end of 2025, there was a decision time. Like, am I going to pursue more racing, or am I just going to go sit home? And I told myself, and I could feel that I'm not ready to give up racing, so I want to do more. But I also know that the time my body says, hey, why you leave home to go to a race? at that time would be a good time to say thank you, racing. It's been an honor, a pleasure, but now it's time to do the next chapter. But it's not yet.
Not yet, thankfully. And I've told you this recently. You know I love IndyCar, love the paddock, love the people. It's been boring. It was more boring last year than it should have been without you there. The cool thing is, you have folks who want you to come back and be there, who want 2025 to be this one oddity, but to get back to normal full time. By the time I get this published, I don't know when, I've been saying for a while now, we know there's one team that's really fond of having you back. I know you're not ready to confirm anything, but at least tell us about the desire for you to continue. You do this by choice.
Yes.
You've been smart. You've saved your money. You've made good investments. You don't have to do this, but there's that passion, but you need to feel that back.
I only do it if it's right. I only do it if it's what I want to do, and I think that's a beauty of being 40 years old and having done 20 plus years of racing. But I know that if I do it, I do it fully. I do it 100%, as Romain Grosjean will always do things. And I hope to have a great season. I hope that I find the fun that I was having some time ago. That freedom of racing, doing things right, but without taking yourself seriously. That fine line, and that's what I truly hope this year is going to be. I hope we can speak more in details very soon, but as of now, it will be still a maybe.
You've been a fan of racing your whole life. It's not just open wheel, rallying is a huge passion of yours. Whether it was Romain, the kid, the fan, what's your favorite race car? If you're like the one race car you think of, oh my gosh, it's my favorite, what is it, the model, the year, the series, what is that car?
I fell in love with racing through rallying initially. And my years was the Lancia Delta Group A Integral Evolution 2 from Didier Auriol, the French driver.
Oh.
That's always been my dream car. And then I watched endurance racing back in the 90s. And then if you want the perfect car from my point of view, the mid-2000 Formula One. Those were perfect. But there's two cars that drove my career, the Lancia, and then once I went on a racetrack and I saw BMW M1 going down the straight. That's how old I am.
Wow.
And I said, that's what I want to do. I remember telling my dad, I was probably 8 years old, that's what I want to do.
Wow.
And I did it.
Similar question, but of the cars you've driven, is there one car you've raced in your career where you're like, that car must be in my garage when I retire? Is there one where you go, that is my favorite?
You know what? I never asked myself that question if I want it in my garage. There are 3 cars in my career that I have had special relationship with. Formula 3 2007, Euro Series. I mean, I was against Nico Hülkenberg, Sebastian Buemi, Kamui Kobayashi. I'm missing some.
But monsters.
Yes, it was a tough year, and I won the championship. I was lucky to be in a good team. So that car was very special.
Would have been a Dallara?
Yeah, it was a Dallara. Was it a 207? Anyway,
Something.
It was still with the gear shift, and you had the shifters cut on the steering wheel. I mean, it was beautiful. And then the Lotus 2013, of course, should have won races with that car. Never happened, but wasn't far off. And then the 2021 Dale Coyne Racing car, the purple one. That year was everything clicked and it was natural.
That was such a special year for you, Romain. Obviously, the nickname, the Phoenix and all that, like, you wish the circumstances were happier to create that, but I think you're going to continue to look back as you get older at all the craziness, life being in jeopardy, surviving. Where do you go after that? That little Dale Coyne team in that year, and you, road and street courses obviously, but having a curiosity about ovals, and then that builds to, like, again, for you, having been able to be there and see it, I love that year for you, because beyond the phoenix of coming out of the fire and surviving, it's like that year with Dale, really for just your career and your life was same kind of thing for you.
Well, we'll see if we can recreate that in the future. But yes, it was a very special year. Of course, special circumstances. Can you believe my accident was about 5 years ago? I just got my helmet back home. I didn't want it home. For a long time, my kids asked to see it. I brought it back home, and it's bloody crazy.
When you see that, how does that live with you? Because there's some things we all have something in our life. It could be a physical thing or just in our memory where when it is seen, when it appears, it takes you to a place. Maybe it's not good. Obviously you're alive. And you see that helmet, does it take you to a place that's not good, or are you okay? I don't know if 4 or 5 years is enough to be okay with it, but at least for me, I don't know if I'd want that within eyesight.
I know. It was the kid that requested to see it. When I look at it, I have wet eyes, but then also realize that I'm here. And yes, it's a crazy moment, and it's not a moment that you want to live in your life. So the helmet brings me back to that moment. But then as soon as I realized that moment onwards, I'm alive.
I mean,
so it's kind of a...
Also, admittedly, every time, it's not as if the helmet's the only reminder. You look at your hand.
I know, but it's here every day, so I kind of forget that it's not normal.
See, I have one here, but that was from fishing with my dad when he told me to be careful cutting the bait, and I wasn't. And he refused to take me to get it fixed. He's like, no, I told you not to, and you did. I'm going to stay fishing. You figured it out. I was like 7, and I'm like, you can do that? Apparently, as a parent, you can. Hey, you idiot, don't do it. I did it. Deal with it.
I would do the same.
Yeah, I feel like there's some tough love there. Brother, I'm so happy for you. And again, we're not confirming anything. There's only 1 seat left in IndyCar. Well, there's potentially 3, but regardless. Hopefully we'll have some good news to come here soon, and IndyCar will be even more fun to be around. But if nothing else, we get you in an amazing Myers Riley Mustang. So thanks for sitting down.
Anytime, my friend.